Well, hello, students. This is Professor Bradley Brennan. I hope you're doing well. This is the first online lecture for Business 2, Unit 1, which is brands. We'll be covering the first part of the chapter today, and then the second PowerPoint presentation will be for the class tomorrow. Um, if you look on my screen here, you can see that we have the PowerPoint for our class, which I will upload to the class. And also, this is the answer sheet that I've created for you to do your homework. So let's look at brands here. Oh, before I start, let's look at the answer sheet here onto the right. Let me explain a little bit about that. Here, I want you to put your name in English, for example, Kim Yuna, and then in Korean, Kim Yuna, student ID, whatever that is. Business 2, Unit 1 Brands, Professor Bradley S. Brennan, Spring 2020. Then here will be the first slide. We're going to watch a video about what is branding. Now, let's go ahead and start off by looking at a little video. Oops, sorry. Okay, thank you very much. Sorry, another professor was dancing to the music here in the room, so moving on. Yes, it is a catchy little tune, but this is a good little video that talks about what is branding. So if you look here on your answer sheet, it says, what does branding mean to you? Well, here on the next slide, we actually have a very standard textbook definition of what is branding, and that's the process involved in creating a unique name and image for a product in the consumer's mind, mainly through advertising campaigns with a consistent theme. Branding aims to establish a significant and differentiated presence in the market that attracts and retains loyal customers. As I said, that is a very good textbook definition of what is branding. But the question I pose to you is, what does branding mean to you? Because for every person, branding may mean a little bit different. That video will give you a good background to be able to think about how brands have evolved over time. What is branding? What do they mean? But to the individual consumer, maybe they mean something a little bit more different or more personal. So here, remember, there's no right or wrong answer. I just want you to write when you think of brands and branding. What comes to mind? What do you think about? And what do brands mean to you? Now, the next part here is the startup. So yeah, so here you're going to list some of your favorite brands. And here, this could be anything. For example, for me, I love different types of brands, but it would depend on what product. So for me, if it came to like, I don't know, my hobby is golf, I would say, oh, I like Titleist and Callaway clubs, but I like Puma when it comes to Puma and Nike when it comes to golf sportswear. Or if it's jeans, I like to wear Levi's. Or if it's sportwear, also I like to wear Spider brand. So here, list some of your favorite brands, and then we're going to answer some questions. Do you or would you buy any of the following brands? Now, why and why not? Or so here, if you look like, for example, Coca-Cola. Would you buy any of the following brands? You might answer something like five or six different brands that you would like to buy or consume. Like Disney, you don't. Well, I guess you could buy Disney, but Disney sells experiences and merchandise. But choose several of the different brands that you would like, and why do you like them? But also, you can choose some brands that maybe you wouldn't use. Like, for example, Nokia. I don't think that's very popular anymore, but it may be to some people. Um, so the next part, the next question would be, which of the brands above do you think feature in the top 10 interbrand list in both 1997 and 2007? So don't check the answers. The answers are on page 134, but again, there's no right or wrong answer. I want you to think about it. Look at these five boxes of brands, and think which of these brands. It could be one, five, 10. I don't remember the exact number. Think that they were a top 10 international brand. That means top 10 in the world. So you would think, okay, in 1999, was it a top 10 brand? And also in 2007. So you're just going to list here which brands that you think were on the top 10 biggest brands in the world in both 1997 and 2007. After you complete that, then look at page 134 and just see to yourself how many that you got right. This is just kind of a fun little exercise. So, like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. The next question is part three. Pick some of the brands above that interest you. What image and qualities does someone have? Use these words and phrases to help you. So, for example, these are words and phrases that help to describe a brand. Value for money, durable, fashionable, upmarket, inexpensive, sexy, timeless, cool, sophisticated, well made, reliable, fun, classic, and stylish. So before you do that, why don't we kind of go over each one of these terms and kind of talk about what it means for a brand? Because maybe some of these don't seem like appropriate for brands, but they are. Value for money, that means for every dollar you spend on that product, you felt that you got at least a dollar in value back or more than a dollar in value back. Durable means it could be hard wearing. For example, Levi's jeans are very durable. You can fall down in them and you don't get holes in them. They're very hard wearing or durable. Fashionable just means it's in style. Upmarket, another word for that would be high end. The opposite would be low end, or we could say upmarket, mid market, down market. Inexpensive means it's cheap. Well, different. Inexpensive just means it doesn't cost a lot of money. Cheap usually implies that it's low quality and inexpensive. Sexy. You know, how can a brand be sexy? Well, the first thing that comes to mind to me is Victoria's Secret. Victoria's Secret, they sell sex and sexiness, so that their whole brand is built around that. But you could even say that, like a Lamborghini is a sexy car. So that word does describe certain brands. Timeless. Well, timeless, if you think about like Audrey Hepburn and you think about Breakfast at Tiffany's, the movie, and she's wearing a cute little black dress. She's has a long cigarette with a black, like a, I don't know what you call it, like a cigarette extension thing. And you look at that picture from 1950 something and you think, wow, she looks beautiful. If she wore that exact same dress or someone wore that exact same dress, the same look today, it would still look good. That's why that look is timeless. But some companies and brands are also timeless. Cool, just another hip, something that's very modern. Sophisticated, a lot of times we'll think of like, it could be something like a Rolex watch. It's very sophisticated, high end. Well made just means it's high quality. Reliable is same again, that's like durable. Fun. If you look at those brands above, which brand screams fun? And you got to say Disney right off the bat because that's what they sell. They sell fun, they sell experiences. Classic. Again, I would say like the Chanel is a classic style that it looks good in the 1950s, it looks good today. Stylish, again, that's another good adjective for describing something that's very in style, very modern today, etc. So again, look at some of those. So question 3 is pick a few of those brands and describe how you feel, what image qualities come to mind when you think of those brands. Hmm. So moving on, question 4. How loyal are you to brands you have chosen? So, for example, when you buy jeans, do you always buy Levi's? Why do you buy brands? You can answer that in a lot of different ways. I'm pretty, I would say, as a consumer, I'm pretty reliable. I buy a lot of the same brands because for me, brands imply quality. And I know that if I buy, if there are certain brands that I like, I know that if I buy that brand, I'll always be satisfied. Um, Same thing. I know most ladies, when they buy makeup, same thing. They know which ones they trust certain brands, and that certain brands work for them that are in their price point. Also, that they has a certain quality that they like, and then they feel comfortable buying those brands. Now, question 5 is why do you think some people dislike brands? There are some people who are like, I don't like to buy any brands. Well, why is that? If you dislike brands, write down why do you dislike brands. If you don't dislike brands, write down why you think somebody might dislike brands. Now, part B, we're going to listen to 2 speakers. They're talking about brands. What reasons does each person give for liking or disliking brands? And which person do you agree with? So here we go. We have speaker 1.
Unit 1. Brands. Track 1.
Do you buy brands?
Yes, I do. I am basically pro-brands. If you buy a branded product, it's a guarantee that the quality is fairly good and that the product is reliable. Another reason is you attract a bit of attention if you buy something stylish, and branded products are usually stylish and have a good design. Let's face it, most people buy brands because they want to impress other people. They want to show that they have style and good taste.
Do you buy brands?
No. Well, not actively, anyway. I don't want to give free advertising to companies. I hate all the advertising hype around brands. And I don't want other people to think I'm trying to impress them with lots of logos. And I also get fed up with seeing the same things wherever you go. If you buy a suit from a famous brand, you'll see 5 people with the same suit that month. It's so boring. Oh, another thing. Am I buying the genuine product or an illegal copy? Basically, I want value for money. I won't pay inflated prices for a name, a fancy logo and packaging. However, I do buy brands for my kids, especially sports goods and trainers. It's always Nike, Adidas or Reebok.
Okay,
Unit
so that was speaker one, the gentleman, and speaker two was the lady. Now we're going to move on to the next slide. So here, this is vocabulary part. You're going to match these words, word partnerships to their meanings. So the first one here has been done for you. So if you look here, it's brand, loyalty, brand image, brand stretching, brand awareness, and brand name. So on the answer sheet, you see that here it says loyalty is the tendency to always buy a particular brand. So here, you're just going to put the letter. So here, the tendency to always buy a particular brand, just go ahead and put in all of the corresponding letters that go for the right one. Product launch, product life cycle, product range, product placement, product endorsement. And the third section is market leader, market research, market share, market challenger, market segment. Moving on, part B. So part B, complete these sentences with the word partnerships from exercise A. So up here, you saw that brand loyalty was the tendency to always buy a particular brand. So here, you're going to fill in these blanks with these above vocabulary words. For example, no one recognizes our logo or slogan. We need to spend more time on advertising to raise, answer is brand awareness. So fill in for brands, for product. That's why you can't see it. Sorry. Okay, sorry, I was messing with the Word document. Moving on to part C. Here it says discuss these questions. Of course, you're doing this by yourself, so you're just going to write answers to the questions. The first one is, what are the advantages and disadvantages for companies of product endorsements? So you have to think, if a product endorsement, that has a very good positive way. There's certain things that happen when you have a very popular movie star, actor, sports person that is a representative of a certain product. But what are the disadvantages? You may say something about what happens if they have a scandal or their their image changes over time, etc. So, like I said, again, there is no right or wrong answer. I just want to see your opinion, so please insert your opinion there. The next question is, how can companies create brand loyalty? Insert your answer. Can you give any examples of successful or unsuccessful brand stretching? And what is brand stretching? That's like iPod, iPhone, iTV, iPad. They're stretching the brand because is the trademark for Apple, or it's the Samsung Galaxy Note 8, Galaxy Note 10, etc. So Galaxy also is stretching the brand. Think of a cheap or expensive idea for a product launch. Now here, um, that could be for any product, or service. So that's up to you. What other market segments can you identify? For example, young singles, active silvers. You could say however you want, but it's for usually when we talk about market segments, as you know, it's usually about age, gender, demographics, income, etc. So I want you to put however many that you think that you know or could put in there. What actions can companies take if they start to lose market share? Here, you can put some specific actions that they can do to try to increase their market share or recover lost market share. Now, the next one is listening. So that's the next slide. Oh, okay, there we go. So listening here. Chris Cleaver is Managing Director, Business Brands at Dragon Brands. Listen to the first part of the interview and tick the points he makes. So tick, make a little mark. So on the answer sheet, I put a space here so you can just put an X or an asterisk or whatever inside those parentheses. So that way that you can indicate what he mentions. He talks, so a brand helps people to become familiar with the product. A brand gives product an identity. A brand increases the sales of a product or service. A brand enables the target consumer to decide if they want the product or not. So let's go ahead and play track 1.2.
1. Brands. Track 2.
What are the qualities of a really good brand?
Strong brands, really, brands that you would say have a real traction in the marketplace, will have a number of important qualities. Obviously, the first is they will have high levels of awareness. So people will know about them and recognise them when they see them. And that might be the physical product, or it might be the visual identity, the design manifestation. But obviously recognition is not enough. What needs to happen also is that people, the target customer or consumer needs to know a lot about that brand. So a strong brand will also immediately communicate a set of appealing and persuasive ideas and perceptions that enable the end user, the target audience, to know whether or not this is a brand for them, or whether it's a brand that they perhaps are not attracted to.
Unit 1.
Okay, so the next part, listen to the second part of the interview and answer the question. What is the main function of a brand? Here, you're going to insert your answer. So let's listen again.
Brands. Track 3.
1.3.
Brands are really useful ways of firstly conveying all that information instantly. So think of any brand you like, any brand that you could imagine, say BMW or British Airways or in any sector, and immediately your head is filled with a raft of important information about what the brand does, but as much as that, what it's like and how it appeals to you and connects with you. And so its function, therefore, is to enable you to choose one thing from another, often in markets where there is very little actual difference between the product. So a BMW, I'm sure BMW would probably be horrified for me to say this, but a BMW is a car like an Audi is a car, like a Mercedes is a car, and they've all got four wheels and an engine and air conditioning and all that type of thing. But the way people feel about them, because of the information and awareness and perception that they have, enables them to decide whether or not one is better for them or right for them or says the right things about them than another.
Okay, that was track 1.3. Okay, so what was the main function of a brand according to Chris? Part C. Now, track 1.4, you're going to listen to the final part, in which 2 ways has Chris Cleaver's company helped Nokia.
Unit 1. Brands. Track 4.
Can you give us an example of a brand you have helped?
One that I can think of is Nokia. Nokia is, a well-known brand. It's by far the biggest mobile phone manufacturer. I think it has about a third of the market, so it's way bigger than anybody else. It's also been in the market, it was kind of invented the market in a way. So for many people, particularly people of my generation, Nokia equals mobile phones. We've helped them in a couple of important ways. Firstly, in a market that's changed and a brand that's expanded hugely in terms of what it offers, we help them with the question of what is it that Nokia is about and how does it relate to its customers, its broad range of customers, in ways in which its competitors don't. So to give it that element of choice, so why I should choose a Nokia over a Motorola, in addition to what it looks like and what it does, so what the brand is about. So that on what you might call technically the master brand. And we've also helped them with developing certain parts of their offer in order to react to the market and also to keep the brand fresh. So we worked with Nokia on their N series, which is one of their more technological phones, multimedia phones, though they don't like to call them phones anymore because they do so much more, in order to satisfy the needs that emerging customer group has, primarily younger consumers who want to be able to do all sorts of things with their phones or devices. But also in order to sharpen Nokia's brand image as a technology leader. It was important that it had products in those areas.
Unit
Just to remind you that I'm only playing the audio. I don't have a CD player on my laptop, so I can't play the video with the subtitles. So in the back of your book, they have the CD, which has all of these audios that are also in video as well. That'll help you. Now, part D. Think of 3 brands you really like and discuss what appealing and persuasive ideas they communicate to you. For example, you may say, Disney is one of my favorite brands because to me it screams fun and imagination and adventure. And so you think about why is it say fun? Well, you think of all the movies, Disneyland, Disney World, Disney Paris, Disney Tokyo, uh, Disney Hong Kong. There's Disney Shanghai. There, all of those places are where dreams come true for children and also for big children. So they're fun places to go. So that's what's appealing and persuasive for me about Disneyland. So for you, you're going to choose 3 different brands that you like and say what really appeals to you about that brand and what persuades you to want to purchase that brand or that service or use their products. The next slide. Okay, so here I put this slide in. It's not in your book, but I put this in here because this is very important. This is one of my favorite things I like to talk about. This is about advertising. Now, you look here, and these are all different Dior brands. So first, what do you think about when you talk about Dior? Well, the Dior definitely has a brand image. Well, that's kind of like Dior is the flagship of the brand, and then there's like an umbrella that covers many other brands that are underneath the main Dior brand. So this is the brand stretching again. We have Miss Dior, we have Dior Addict, Dior Homme, and J'adore. So all of these are different Dior brands, but they all have a very different target market. So I want you to look at the advertisement, for example. What is the brand image for Dior? So you may say some things like, oh, it's high end, it has a very timeless look, etc. It seems very expensive, whatever. So that's just the regular Dior brand. But here in these pictures, these are actual advertisements for the sub brands, which is like, for example, Miss Dior. What is the brand image of Miss Dior? What is the target market? So by looking at this photo, what comes to mind? Well, you can say, well, first, well, who's the model? And then you think, oh, um, the model is Natalie Portman. So in here, does she look very young, middle-aged, older, senior? Well, I would say that she definitely looks like she's in her early 20s maybe or maybe mid 20s, but definitely she looks very youthful. And then you think, oh, okay, well, what other things? Well, when marketers and advertisers, when they make an advertisement, everything has been thought out. Let's come back to Miss Dior in just a moment, because I want to say like a different target market would be J'adore. So both of these advertisements are for J'adore. It's another fragrance. They're both fragrances, right? But they're for very different target markets. Well, look at the models. The models look different than this model. How do they look different? So you may think like, for example, these models look a little bit older. Also, think about hairstyles. Usually, youthful, we think of long hair, right? When a woman is young, a lot of times they have long hair, long straight hair. But here you can see the model here does have long hair as well. But here the model has short hair. You can tell this is definitely an older market, but maybe not much older, but maybe I would say this target market is teen to 20 something. And this market is like 30 something to maybe 40 something. Here, Miss Dior, you can tell that they're looking for youth, innocence. She has a rose in her mouth, but it's still also a little seductive and maybe also a little bit sexy, but at the same time, very pure. That's what a flower is, the symbol of purity. Also here, there's a little flower bow or a little bow that's on top of the actual product itself. And J'adore here, the bottle looks very different. This one looks very cute and even has a little bow. But this one is very curvaceous. It's kind of like more womanly, like the Korean word juchupangpang, more like curvy, or in English we say curvaceous, more of an hourglass figure. Um, and you can see again here, she doesn't look like she's wearing a shirt, but still it doesn't look so sexy. But here, this model she looks like she's about ready to pull her dress off, and this model is not even wearing a top, and also showing part of her breast. So it's a lot more seductive, a lot more, I think, sexually empowering. And then who are these? Who are these advertisements focusing on? Well, of course, women. Also, it could be for men who buy these fragrances for their spouse or girlfriend or etc. Now let's look again here. Well, even the colors are different. The background, white background, again, is purity. Dark background is more seductive, and the colors are gold. Even the way that they do the lettering is very different. Why is that? Again, here, um, you look at so looking at the next advertisement, we have Jude Law. Now, when I look at this photo, I think that they definitely have a certain look to it. Now, I know it looks very small on the screen, but you know, who's the target market for this? It looks like James Bond type character. He's got his leather jacket over his shoulder. He's got his beautiful Bond girl at the end with a classic high powered speedboat. And he looks like kind of like, come on, don't you want to have my life? So that's kind of, it's, who do you think that target market is for this product? And again, for Dior Addict, it's also very different than the other product here. And what's your image when you think about Dior Addict? What's the image that comes to mind? And who do you think is the target market? So let's go ahead and move on. Here, in part B, skim the article on the next page here and indicate which of the points are mentioned. Here I put the little things where you can just tick, like put an X in there if they're mentioned. So the article is here, the restless pursuer of luxury's future. Read that article, and then you'll be able to answer these questions of part B. And then part C, again, you read the article and complete the notes in the map below. So here you look at this map. Number one is here, blank of shareholders. So blank of shareholders. Look back at the article and what's the missing word or information that goes in here? You'll see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 answers there. And then that's the article that you need to read. And here, that's the complete the Dior graph. So when they're talking through that article about Dior, it shows information here and here. So the answers need to put for 7 and 8 are here, excuse me. Language review is the next slide. So here, this is about the present simple and present continuous tenses. So the present simple and the present continuous have several uses. We use the present simple to give factual information, for example, about company activities. Christian Dior Couture means luxury, ready-to-wear fashion. Dior Homme targets the male consumer. We use the present simple to talk about routine activities or habits. Toledano routinely communicates with his demanding boss. Toledano travels every week to one of Dior's 224 stores. We use the present continuous to talk about ongoing situations and projects. For example, fashion house Christian Dior is now selling baby bottles. We use the present continuous to talk about temporary situations. Dior is currently looking to recruit a marketing director for the UK and Ireland. Now, go here to part A. Which of the times expressions do we use with the present simple, and which do we use with the present continuous? Which are used with both? So here you see 4 boxes with different verbs. You can state just next to it. You can just put in: is it present continuous, or is it present simple, or is it both? So you can just put, PS or PC for present simple and present continuous. And if it's both, just put PS and PC. Part B. Complete these sentences with the present simple or the present continuous forms of the verbs in the brackets. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blanks that you have to fill with the present continuous or present simple forms of the verbs. Part C. Complete this text with present simple or the present continuous form of the verbs in the brackets. So here, again, here it's the Google brand blank rapidly. So the verb is grow. So what is it going to be? The Google brand grow, growing, grew, etc. Put the right present simple or present continuous form of this verb grow inside the bracket. So under skills, part A, we're going to listen to the CD track 5. 4 marketing executives at a sporting sponsorship agency are talking about finding a new sport for their client, a well-known media company to sponsor. Listen to the conversation and then answer the questions. The questions are: why does the client want to change the sport they sponsor? Which 4 sports do the executives consider? Which sport does Mario suggest? Why does he suggest it? What must David do before he contacts Larry Harrington's agent? So let me play track 5 for you. Oh, and also you can just in YouTube, just put Market Leader Intermediate if you don't have the CD. This is online. It has all of the audio for the book, is what I'm using.
1. Brands. Track 5.
Joy, we know our client doesn't want to be linked to football anymore. It seems the club they sponsor is asking for too much money. And in any case, they're looking for something more exciting. Something that'll give their brand a bit more punch. Any ideas?
Well, there are several possibilities. How about ice hockey? It's an incredibly fast, exciting sport. It's very popular in America and in a lot of European countries.
Okay, that's a possibility. What do you think, Natasha? Would ice hockey be a good choice?
I'm not so sure. It's not really an international sport, is it? Not in the same way as baseball, for example, or tennis.
That's true. Baseball's got a lot more international appeal, and it's a sport that's got a good image. I don't know about tennis. I'm not sure it would be suitable. Mario, how do you feel about this?
In my opinion, motor racing would be perfect for our client. It's fast, exciting, and the TV coverage of the Formula One races is excellent. They would get a lot of exposure. It will really strengthen their image.
That's a great idea, Mario. Why don't we get in touch with Larry Harrington's agency and see if he's interested? Harrington's young, exciting. He'd probably jump at the chance to work with our client. They're a perfect match. But first, I must check with our client and make sure they're happy with our choice.
Okay.
Unit 1. Brands. Track 6.
Just 1 second.
Unit 1. Brands. Track 5.
I just rewound the tape a little bit because if we look here, you're supposed to answer those 4 questions based on the CD track 5, which we just listened to. And again, now we're going to listen to it one more time. Here, track 5, listen again and complete the extract. I've already done it for you. I put in the entire extract. So here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 missing words, which you need to put in based on listening to the tape script.
Joy, we know our client doesn't want to be linked to football anymore. It seems the club they sponsor is asking for too much money. And in any case, they're looking for something more exciting. Something that'll give their brand a bit more punch. Any ideas?
Well, there are several possibilities. How about ice hockey? It's an incredibly fast, exciting sport. It's very popular in America and in a lot of European countries.
Okay, that's a possibility. What do you think, Natasha? Would ice hockey be a good choice?
I'm not so sure. It's not really an international sport, is it? Not in the same way as baseball, for example, or tennis.
That's true. Baseball's got a lot more international appeal, and it's a sport that's got a good image. I don't know about tennis. I'm not sure it would be suitable. Mario, how do you feel about this?
In my opinion, motor racing would be perfect for our client. It's fast, exciting, and the TV coverage of the Formula One races is excellent. They would get a lot of exposure. It will really strengthen their image.
That's a great idea, Mario. Why don't we get in touch with Larry Harrington's agency and see if he's interested? Harrington's young, exciting. He'd probably jump at the chance to work with our client. They're a perfect match. But first, I must check with our client and make sure they're happy with our choice.
Okay. So, part C. Part C, which of these phrases in exercise B are asking for opinions? Giving it opinions, agreeing or disagreeing, making suggestions. So look at these different phrases in exercise B and then think, well, asking for opinions. Which ones of these are asking for opinions? You can just copy and paste it down in here. We're going to skip the role play situation since you're by yourself. And this is the end of the first online lecture. I will post this and also the answer sheet to the iClass for you to be able to see. It'll be during the class time. So I will post it for both Business 2 classes. You will only be able to watch the video during class time. So you must click on it and watch it during class time. That way it'll show that you attended the class. I'm also going to post these 2 lectures. I'll post them on YouTube and I'll email you the link. So that way it's too fast for you to be able to answer all of this just in the short time that you're allotted during class. So you'll be able to look at the video and then pause it and listen and then replay it, etc. So you can help complete your homework assignment. The homework assignment will be due a week after the class, so I'll also give you that information within an email. Thank you very much. Oh, one more thing. Please make sure that you do not share your answers with other people. If I believe that people are copying the answers, then you'll get 0 points for it if it's copied. Please do your own work. And I look forward to seeing you in class, hopefully in about a week or two. Thank you very much.